Well, folks, here we are the last weekend before the 2020 election. Today is Halloween, but the ghosts and goblins have been out in full force over the last 3 years. But in contrast, it isn't your candy that they won't know. Today's liberal Democrats, led by Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and puppeteered by Nancy Pelosi, are out to steal the very soul of liberty and the American way of life. Today, I want to have a serious conversation with my listeners. Our nation is at DEFCON 1, and as Tuesday approaches, as a nation, we must prepare for anything. Suppose Joe Biden and his Bolshevik backers somehow find a way to steal this election, and in that case, our country is on a collision course with communism, a point of no return that will unravel the very framework built by our founding fathers. This is Eric Wright, and you are listening to the Closet Conservative Podcast. Three days, ladies and gentlemen. 3 days. That is what separates us from the socialistic purge designed by today's Democrats. I urge each of you to avoid the one-sided, heavy-handed attempt by today's liberal mainstream media to shelter Joe Biden and the policies that will pollute our nation's political system and poison the livelihoods of our population. Folks, for those of you out there who may find yourself undecided and not yet cast your vote for president, the time is now. The time is now for you to understand the systematic destruction that Joe Biden and the Democratic Party will bring upon our economy. Biden doesn't know jobs. He doesn't know how to get them. Well, unless you count the ones for his son Hunter. And he surely doesn't know how to keep them. No. For nearly 47 years in office, including 8 as vice president under Obama, American jobs were eradicated at a record pace. Joe Biden and Barack Obama sold out the American people to countries like China and Mexico. The North American Free Trade Agreement killed American manufacturing jobs, and unless you were a member of the People's Republic of China or last name Biden, your employment and the livelihood of you and your family were heavily burdened, if not killed. Folks, I want you all to take a look at what is occurring across our nation. The local, state, and federal Democratic Party response to the COVID-19 pandemic is a precursor of things to come in a Biden administration. Liberal-led states such as California, New York, and my home state, North Carolina, have seen businesses close their doors, lay off hundreds and thousands of employees, or completely uproot their operations for greener, less restrictive political pastures. In New York, Governor Andrew Cuomo and City Mayor Bill de Blasio have combined their efforts to turn the Big Apple into a socialistic sour swamp of destruction. Record job losses and crime have engulfed the city, and both Cuomo and de Blasio want to point fingers at anyone but themselves. Due to liberal anti-gun policies and COVID-19 closures, Kimber Arms, for example, a national leader in gun manufacturing, moved its headquarters from Yonkers to Troy, Alabama, and took with them 366 jobs. Remington Arms, as a direct result of liberal-backed anti-gun legislation and court rulings, will look to lay off an additional 700 employees in New York as the company goes through bankruptcy proceedings. In California, due to their liberal-minded governor and local legislators, businesses are also preparing to vacate the Golden State. Earlier this year, California's COVID-19 response ordered companies such as Tesla and their 10,000 employees out of work. And in response, company CEO Elon Musk threatened to move their operations to Austin, Texas, a move that has simmered down just a little bit, but not completely ruled out for the future. And in my home state of North Carolina, Governor Roy Cooper has systematically destroyed small businesses. From bars and restaurants to shops and service providers, Cooper's liberal policies have ranked the state of North Carolina second in the nation with reported job losses. Ladies and gentlemen, since March, Joe Biden and his cesspool of socialistic supporters have demanded a federal and national mandate of mask wearing and other more restrictive policies. Such an action would further kill American businesses, and you know what? Joe Biden could care less. And why? Because for Joe Biden and members of the left, they have no business concept. For many liberal congressmen and women, they have never owned or operated a business. They lack the capacity and intelligence to understand the sacrifices that small companies make daily. You see, as a small business owner and operator, you are the first one in the door and the last one to leave. And often, when times and money is short, you are also the last one to get paid. But for the members of the left, this kind of concept skips their communistic brain, you see. Their mindset is, no worries, the government has the right to take over operations of all businesses. How, what, and where you sell your goods or services, how much you pay your employees, and how much of your hard-earned earnings you can retain. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that government has no right to tell you how to live your life. And that directly includes that, you, and how you run your business. You see, in America, consumerism dictates business policy, not some out-of-touch in-it-for-themself Democrat whose lifetime extent at business operation was a childhood roadside lemonade stand. Folks, if you have listened to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's last 9 months out on the campaign trail, you would have heard them distinctively deny the importance of Wall Street and the American stock market. Continually, they both have blasted Trump for his business and investment success and entrepreneurial spirit. For the Biden campaign, it doesn't matter how bad the stock market drops, and for them, they are too stupid to comprehend the direct correlation between company investment and success. In a traditional liberal fashion, the Biden campaign believes that American businesses should pay their fair share, which is nothing more than saying they will tax the hell out of companies until their profits drop. As a result, their patrons can no longer afford to shop there. But for you listening today, you must understand the basic economic principles, something that has eluded Joe Biden for near 50 years as a politician. Businesses are created to provide a good or service for a profit. They are to both be good stewards of their communities, but also to their investors. When overhead for a company increases, so does the price of their goods and services. Should a small business be forced by liberal legislation to increase its employees' hourly pay by almost double, the result will be that the products they sell or the services they render will increase in like kind. That gallon of milk now that cost $2.89 will immediately shoot up to perhaps $4.89 a gallon or higher. Biden's war of words and promised action against American oil and gas companies will most assuredly increase the overall cost in shipping, which will also increase product cost. Basic economic principle, ladies and gentlemen, you better understand it now before it is too late. Today's Democratic Party, in their Chinese and Russian sloppy second socialistic style, will bury American businesses in their liberal party first policies. You see, they believe that success is not warranted via dedication and hard work. No. If you are successful, it was because you were lucky, not legitimate. And only the government has the right to decipher and dictate who the business can hire, what they can sell, and when and how they can go about selling it. Folks, the time is now. If you've ever been concerned about our country's direction, now is the time for you to deny the continued deception and deplorable actions of today's Democrats. Get off of your feet and get into the fire and fight for your freedom to choose, your independence for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The left in this country would have you believe that being successful is being selfish. But I'm here to set the record straight by saying socialism has never worked and will never work. The United States was founded on better, and with your help, we will cement our conservative resolve against those who wish to tear America apart. This is Eric Wright, and you have been listening to the Closet Conservative Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to our podcast. Please remember to give a 5-star review and share our podcast with your friends. The Closet Conservative Podcast is a production of The Liberty Loft. Copyright The Liberty Loft, 2020. You can find more shows and information on our website, www.thelibertyloft.com, or any of our social media channels.